Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to this presentation. In this presentation, we're going to talk about 4.3 distance time graph. The key points here are talking about speed or average speed and what does it mean. Now, average speed or speed means how much distance you go over time because it's distance divided by time. So when you explain it, it's how much distance you go over time. Very good. Now, you can calculate average speed if you know the distance and the time. So you divide the distance by the time, or as we say in letters, S for speed equals D for distance divided by T, which is time. Now, let me show you another key point which is important with the speed. Now, in this key point, we're talking about compound measures because speed is a compound measure. What's the meaning of compound measure? Compound measures means they combine measures of two different quantities. For example, speed is a measure of distance traveled and time taken. So because it's distance over time, we call it a compound measure because it measures the distance and the time. That's why it's called compound measure. Now, speed is a measure of distance traveled and time taken. It can be measured in meter per seconds, for example, ms, like this, and kilometers per hour, km per hours, or miles per hour. So that's why it's called compound measure, because it has two measurements, or it measures two things at the same time. Now, let me show you a question that describes this more. This is a school coach journey, and this is the graph of this school coach journey. Now, this distance time graph here, the distance with kilometers and the time with hours. Now, as you can see here, from A to B, it went from 0 until it reached this distance in that time. So it reached 150, which is here, yes, 150 kilometers, I'm sorry, in 10 a.m. So after 2 hours, because it started here. This is very important to interpret a graph. You have to know the time and the distance traveled. And then to count the speed, you measure the distance and put it here, for example, because S equals distance over time. So the distance is 150 divided by time, which is 2 hours. So the speed was 75. Very good. And when you measure the speed, you have to say 75 what? Kilometers per hour. Good. So km per hour. This is the measurement or the unit of speed. Now, some questions will ask you to measure the speed or the average speed, which are the same. And some of them will ask you, is it like higher or lower than the other line? For example, let me show you another one. Let's take a look at the points here. We have point A here and B here. This is a traveling point. Now, from A to B, it took 2 hours, but from E to F, it took more time, which is very good, from here, which is 1:30 to 4:30. So they are 3 hours. So as you can see, the inclination of the line here, and inclination means tilting, the line might be like this, and then it went like this, inclined. So the inclination describes the speed. Now, the inclination will look like this. The more inclined the line, it will be like this. So the more inclined the line, the more the speed. The less inclined the line, it will be like this. So the less inclined the line, the lower the speed. So inclination of a line on a distance time graph describes the speed. Very good. And the horizontal line, as we said here, what does it describe? Very good. It describes or says that you are stopping, not moving. Very good. Now, these things are important to describe a journey on a time distance graph. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.